Welcome to episode 316 of the show. This is Nigeria's longest running business podcast and one that is devoted exclusively to the discipline of sales and personal selling. And that, if you don't know, is the art or the science of trying to figure out how to carry on the conversation from hello, good morning to thank you very much for your business. So the focus is how we move through one interaction at a time, whether you're having a face-to-face conversation or exchanging WhatsApp messages or emails. There is an art and a science to how you carry on the conversation and how you go on from the initial meeting to closing the sale and getting the deposit and building a relationship. Now, in fact, relationship is at the heart of what I would like for us to talk about today, because there's a lot out there on the social media, on the interwebs. If you use the Google machine or you're checking YouTube, you can find a lot about how business is a relationship and you ought to build rapport. And so because of that, you find people making the mistake of over-indexing on the relationship. So you have people who meet a potential client and they spend all this time trying to build a relationship because that's what you're seeing on the internet, on YouTube, and on Google, that you should be building relationships. And is that necessarily the case? Well, the answer is really nuanced, as most of the things that we discuss over here on the podcast. So yes, relationship building is important, but that isn't the focus of what you have come before the customer today. So your customer or your client or your potential client has a series of problems that they want to fix, or they have an ideal vision that they are looking towards. So in the wedding and the event space, the reason why you're sitting down with this bride is because she has this perfect vision about her wedding planning process, or wedding decor ideas, or how the coverage, photography-wise or video, is going to be. She hasn't come to you because she's looking for new friends. And it's the same thing with the groom. They are not looking for new friends. What they have is a problem or a vision. So our goal throughout the whole process should be much more streamlined to making sure that we can solve their problem and help them achieve that vision that they have in mind. Now, when you're dealing with much more complex processes, when we're dealing with much more complex processes and products like wedding planning, for instance, you'll find that you can get opportunities for building relationships on the back end, but that shouldn't be your focus in the beginning. So in the beginning, just focus on the need, the problem, and see if there's a match between what they would like and what it is that you can offer. And then after you are done fulfilling that, you're going to have lots of avenues for building the relationship after you're done with that, or maybe even during the process. So it's something that wedding photographers can relate to. In the beginning, we have the conversation and it's all about price, or it's all about style, or whatever. But eventually, we clinch the deal and they make a deposit. Now, for some of you, you'll find that the deposit has been paid a month in advance, or 2 months in advance, or 3 months in advance. And that is the stage where you do get to build the relationship and to smooth things out. And particularly after you deliver the album and the frames and everything else. And it is then that you can get to build this relationship that you are going to derive value from over the long term. So, bottom line, not to waste too much of our time today. On the whole thing about relationships, are they essential? Yes, relationships are essential, but that doesn't mean that we have to go into this process trying to build a relationship from the get. At the beginning, the focus should be on the substantive and the substantial parts. Do they have a problem? Is it a problem we can solve? What is the vision? Is the vision something that we can meet? Is there a good match here? Are we in sync when it comes to money and budgetary expectations? Those are the key questions that should be on top of your mind. After you have collected deposits, after you have executed, you can worry about building a relationship that you can nurture and derive value from, and also provide value to. Let's not forget, because it's not just about the value that we can extract, but the value that we can provide. So we can worry about all that relationship stuff later. Maybe somebody is going to write in, send a message in saying that, oh, that's not how it works in my own industry. And yes, that might in fact be the case. But for the wedding and the event space, let's not make the mistake that some of us made. And I'm one of those people who made the mistakes. Like, the bride and the groom show up and I'm spending all this time trying to be their friend. The bride and the groom, your potential client, whatever business it is, even if you sell fish, imported fish from Norway, and you sell to restaurants, most likely the restaurant owner, the bride, the groom, they already have enough friends. They are not looking for new friends. Solve the problem, help them achieve the vision, and then you guys can become buddies after that. So yes, if the guy needs Danish croaker or whale meat from the South Pole, can you deliver that? And when you're done with that, you can now open up the whole conversations about, oh, how did you get into this restaurant industry? Are you guys making money in Abuja? Buhari's government is this, blah blah blah, and all the stuff that comes afterwards. So problem and needs and vision first, and then you can worry about the relationship later. So thank you very much for listening to the Sales for the Nigerian Wedding Industry podcast. I'm your host, Abuja-based sales consultant and event media professional, Tavishima Ayede. Thanks for your time and attention. I'll catch you guys at the next recording. Remember to share this with a colleague or a friend if you find something useful here that we've spoken about. Also remember to subscribe using whatever podcast app that you use. And for questions, queries, or comments, there are voice messaging features in Anchor and in Spotify that you can use. So shoot me over a message. It would be nice to hear from you guys. Also, don't forget, in whatever podcast catcher that you're using, to give a rating. You don't necessarily have to write a review, but if you do, that would be nice. So a rating. And so far on iTunes, we've only gotten 5 stars so far. So please, by all means, continue with the tradition of 5 stars if you believe that you have gotten enough value from these series. So thank you very much for listening. I'll catch you guys at the next recording.